Welcome back to the New York Sports Exchange, episode number 106. And it's just me yet again. Tim feeling under the weather today. Hashtag prayers up for Tim. Drop that in the comments section, wherever you may be listening to this. People are going to think he's dead. Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, so just me today. Not really much to cover, but very important stuff to cover. College football starting up on Saturday. I'll give two two bets for week 0. And the Giants. Oh yeah, baby. Joe Shane and the New York Football Giants are making moves still. Isaiah Simmons is a New York Giant. Who would have thought? Oh my goodness, who would have thought the guy the Giants fans have been clamoring for, who were clamoring for in 2020 during the draft, we end up with Andrew Thomas, and then we go get him. We go get both. Like this, honestly, if you told me that in 2020, I would have called you an idiot and thought that Dave Gettleman was the second coming of Jesus Christ. But here we are. Joe Shane does it again. I'll give an inside depth on that. Alexi Lafreniere signs his extension, 2 years, about $4 million. I'll give some inside depth on that as well. Baseball, Yankees and Mets seasons over. Shohei Ohtani to the IL. Mike Trout returned for the IL one day and then went back in the IL the next. So definitely going to give some rundowns there. I already mentioned college football. Then it's time for our AFC and NFC West predictions. Give best bets, win totals, what we like. So let's dive right into it. Let's get it started. Isaiah Simmons, New York Giants. Very low risk, high reward trade. We only gave up a 7th round pick for him. The high reward, I mean, this guy was one of the best athletes coming into the 2020 draft. Drafted 8th overall by the Cardinals. He doesn't really have a true position, though. That's the thing. He played 25 snaps in Arizona last week at safety. It did not go well. I saw the highlights of it. It did not go. He was being outrun by the third string quarterback of the Chiefs. It did not go well for him. So he's definitely going to be starting at linebacker. So our linebacker duo is now going to be Bobby Okereke and Isaiah Simmons. Feel bad for Micah McFadden. He's been having a very good camp so far, but I mean, when Isaiah Simmons rolls in, definitely something to look for. Trying to find the stats for where he played. So in Arizona, he fits the Wink Martindale scheme perfectly. The positionless defense. He's got amazing speed, amazing athleticism, so it's perfect for the blitz. He played 40% of the snaps at outside linebacker, 23% at inside linebacker, and 26% at cornerback, mostly in the slot. Don't really need secondary help. So honestly, it was the linebacker help that we needed. So definitely he'll be playing most of his snaps at linebacker, and it's definitely it personifies the difference between college and NFL. In college, he played everywhere, and it made sense for him. He was just that's just how the game was, and that's how freak of an athlete he was. In today's NFL, I feel like it's more of you stick to one position and that's it, and that's what it's proven because he was at free safety the other day and he did not do well. I mean, he's it did not look good. You can look up. I saw the highlights on TikTok. It was just not good at all from Isaiah Simmons. But hopefully it's a nice culture change. Arizona's taking. I think they also traded one of their top offensive linemen to the Texans. So maybe the tank is coming. Maybe a Kyler Murray trade is in the works soon. Probably during the trade deadline. So for a team that badly needs a quarterback. So who knows? Yeah, but he will probably be a sub-packaged linebacker, kind of what Tony Jefferson was to the Giants last year. But how can you not be excited for this? Like Isaiah Simmons was one of the top players in the 2020 draft, and I mean, and the fact that we only got him for a 7th round pick. a guy that's probably going to be on a practice squad in like 3 years. Like it's obviously the Giants aren't contending yet. I mean, hey, they made the playoffs last year. They can definitely be in room for contention with how Daniel Jones and Darren Waller look together. Oh my God, that was certainly something. But it's nice. It puts a smile on my face that Joe Shane is making contending moves to make the Giants more of a contender. Defense looks phenomenal. The front defensive line looks phenomenal. The secondary looks great. The linebackers, that's where it's set right there. We went from Jalen Smith and Tay Crowder in year one of the Dable Shane era, and then in year two, Bobby Okereke and Isaiah Simmons. Let's have some fun. Let's ride. I'm ready for some Giant football. I'm very happy. Simmons, 7.5 career sacks, 4 interceptions, and 7 forced fumbles in his career at Arizona. Okay, enough Giant football. We are now going to get to the Rangers. Alexi Lafreniere, 2 years, $4 million, 4.65 to be exact. It goes just over 2.3 million against the salary cap. We need him big time, especially we need him. This is certainly a prove-it deal for Alexi Lafreniere here, who we drafted number 1 overall back in 2020, and now here we are, basically kind of being like, all right, kid, you got to step up. We're counting on him to be a part of this young core that we need to either win with or build around for these next couple years, because all we've been hearing is the kids. And Heedle's done his job. Philip Heedle's been phenomenal. It's Kakko and Lafreniere that I'm worried about. I know Lafreniere came off a career high 39 points, but we're talking about, like, the Devils drafted their number 1 guy. Year 3, he's already putting up 100-something points. Hopefully Peter Laviolette knows what he's doing with these kids. I don't like. I'm fine if they separate the kid line, not having them play together. I'd like to see Lafreniere with more of maybe Lafreniere with Panarin or Zibanejad, even sometimes even Kreider. I'd also like to see Kakko with Panarin or Zibanejad too. Heedle, I could still see him go second line maybe. I'd like to see him with Blake Wheeler. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah. Notable RFAs still out there. Anaheim, Trevor Zegras, that's big, and Morgan for us with Philadelphia. They are one of the 9 restricted free agents without a contract. So yeah, so that's basically it for that. And then now on to baseball. Now to the long haul for some baseball talk. The Yankees dropped 2 out of 3. God, they dropped 2 out of 3 to the Washington Nationals, and it's just safe to say that, like, this is it. It's over. It's over. 61-66. Dude, it's over. 10 games out of the third wild card spot. They need a miracle. It is right now. It is August 24th. They're 10 games out of a wild card spot. It's not good. It's not good at all. This is. I mean, Brian Cashman at a press conference the other day, basically saying this year's been a disaster. This year's been a failure. It has. It's just a trickle down. It's been trickled down to all the moves that he has made within the last year and a half. Donaldson trade has not worked. It has not. DJ LeMahieu contract has not worked. Missed the playoffs in 2021 and 2020 and 2022, excuse me, and has not performed at all to his expectations in 2023. Josh Donaldson has been terrible. I understand that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been somewhat of a nice little bench spark or whatever, a utility guy for the Yankees this year, but throwing him into a position where he just doesn't play in for 95% of the year isn't going to work. Ben Rortvett's been god-awful. That's the catcher you got. He's hitting, he's hurt. He was hurt for the majority of last year. You had him playing in the minor leagues. Goes up this year. He's hitting like 0.92, like 0.98. I know he had 2 hits the other day, but I don't know what he's done. I haven't watched a full Yankee game in like weeks. You can call me a fake fan. Call it how it is. it's just unwatchable. It's really just unwatchable. Every game, it's the same. Like the bullpen implodes. Tommy Kahnle's been terrible. Like it's not good. It's not a good product they're putting on the field. I feel like the game is taking a step ahead, and the Yankees still think that the home run that they're just gonna live, breathe, and die by the home run. No, like they have to get younger, and they did. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. They did get younger. They called up Oswald Peraza yet again, and they called up their star out, not star, but one of their top outfielding prospects, Everson Pereira. Um, they said that Pereira is going to get consistent looks at left field. Same with Peraza at either third, short, or second. If Volpe needs a day, they'll throw him at short. If Glaber needs a day, they'll throw him at second. And if, with Rizzo hurt, I don't think they're really too keen on putting Bowers at first base. So it looks like LeMahieu's going to be the first baseman now, and then they're going to put Peraza at third. But this is waving the white flag over. Like, there's no hope anymore. There's no hope anymore for this year. This year has just been absolutely god awful. You make no moves at the deadline, you expect to contend. I believe the Yankees are 21-33. I could be wrong. I feel like it's accurate though. 21-33. Since Hal Steinbrenner went on the Michael Kay show and was wondering why fans are so upset with how the team has performed. There's so many. I think there's I think we're like 12-22. That's another one I could be wrong for. But when Brian Cashman said after the deadline that we're in it to win it, after just getting Keenan Middleton and Spencer Howard, what else? What else is there? There's just so much more. I can't. They disgust me. They really they disgust me, and I'll leave it at that. The Mets, on the other hand, their season's also over. But on a lighter note about the New York Mets, who are currently 8 games out of the wild card spot. That NL wild card race is chaos. I will definitely get to that. The Mets have announced that they are going to retire Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry's number, something that's been a long time coming. Pivotal parts of that 1986 World Series team. Very happy for them. Also, Doc Gooden went on Michael Kay today and said that he's in talks for a movie being made about his life. That is definitely very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, that's all I got on the Mets. I mean, they had a dominating win over the Braves the other day, but then dropped 2 in a row. I believe that they were off today. Yes, they were. They were off today, so they play on Friday against the Los Angeles Angels. And what a nice transition. And the Yankees have 3 in the Trop starting tomorrow. Cole on the mound. Perfect ease into the Los Angeles Angels. Oh God, if you're an Angels fan, how have you not killed yourself? You buy at the deadline. Good. Honestly, you buy at the deadline. Good. Shows the fans that you care. Shows the fans that you care. You want to make the playoffs with Shohei. And shit just hits the fan immediately. Like, I think they lost like 8 or 6 in a row after the deadline. You go get CJ Cron, Randall Grichuk, like all these guys, and then shit hit the fan. Shit hit the fan base, basically. There's just I don't know. I don't know what to say. If I don't know what to say, Angels fans. I really don't. And then the icing on the cake, Shohei Ohtani. I think a partial tear of the UCL. I could be wrong about that one. Again, could be very wrong about that one. Actually, no. I think it's a full tear. I think it's a full tear of the UCL. Yes, it is. So he will not pitch for the rest of the year. I think he's going to hit, which is fine. I think Shohei should stop pitching in general, which is a very hot take. I said it. That's a very hot take on my part. I think if he needs Tommy John surgery, it's going to be his second Tommy John surgery, and then it's going to take another year for him to recover. I think he's more of yeah, I get it. He hits and pitches, but do you really want to risk the elbow and the arm of the best player in baseball right now? A perennial MVP who's probably going to win MVP. You don't want to risk his arm. And then to even put more icing on the cake, Mike Trout, who has missed the last 7 or 8 weeks on the IL, comes back next day, back to the IL he goes. It's just tough to see. I mean, I don't know how it affects the contract of Shohei. I don't know if he's going to lose money. I don't know if teams are going to be very hands off with him because, you're looking at a hitter and a pitcher. We could either be, I mean, if teams looking for a pitcher, are back off on Shohei, what does it mean? Do the Dodgers make a push? Who knows? Do the Yankees make a push? Who knows? They need pitching too. Dodgers need pitching too. And then another team I'm blanking on, the Mets. Mets need pitching too, but I don't know if they're going to be making a full court press on Shohei. They might just do their due diligence, but it really makes you wonder about what's going to happen to Shohei this offseason because he's definitely not going to pitch. Who knows if he needs Tommy John. In other baseball news, Steven Strasburg. This is God. I'm so old. Steven Strasburg, who has been out since 2022. He's had a plethora of injuries. He will be. He will announce to retire. The official announcement will be made on September 9th. Strasburg. This is tough to see. This is really tough to see. He recently had surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome. He had a nerve and a blood disorder. Like he had to remove a rib and neck muscle. It was just getting too much. He's 35 years old. He hasn't pitched since June. He didn't really do that well, but it's like, God, this sucks because I remember his debut so well. I have never seen a more anticipated MLB debut for a prospect since Steven Strasburg, and I will take that statement to the grave. I think second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and third, I don't even know if I have a third. I think honestly, Jason Dominguez when he gets called up is probably going to be big time. But God, he had that stadium freaking rocking. He had that stadium rocking his debut, throwing triple digits. This just sucks to see, man. It really sucks to see. But struck out 14 guys in his debut. I thought we were looking at the next like 5-time Cy Young winner. It just sucks seeing all these pitchers going DeGrom, Shohei, Clanahan too. He's got Tommy John, and then now Strasburg. I mean, they are just ever since he got that new deal. Ever since he got that new deal after the Nationals won the World Series in 2019, it's kind of all gone downhill from there. Just sucks to see. Just sucks to see. Possibly could have been another what if in Major League Baseball. Probably could have been one of the all-time greats. So now we're going to take a trip around the league, and I want to talk about the NL West because this has gotten so much more interesting now that the Seattle Mariners are in play here. Astros got killed by the Red Sox today. I think it was like 16-2, 16-1. So now officially they're in third place because Astros have more wins, but they have more losses than the Mariners. So the Mariners are one game ahead in the loss column. The Rangers have lost 6 straight. DeGrom, Tommy John surgery, Nathan Eovaldi's on the IL. We don't know when he's coming back. They go get Max Scherzer, but Jordan Montgomery's been doing well. It's the bullpen. It's the bullpen that's worrying me a little bit about the Texas Rangers right now because Aroldis Chapman, I'm getting war flashbacks, but still, man, I mean, 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 6 in a row. I believe that they're playing right now, or do they have an off day? They're playing right now. They're up 5-2 against the Twins in Minnesota. I mean, they have the firepower for it, but you look at these Mariners, man. The Mariners 8-2 in their last 10. They lost today, I believe. They played I believe that they're off. I've been scrambling here. Didn't really do much research going into this. I think they had the off day today. They played last night against the White Sox. Lost on a walk-off error. So, if you're the Mariners, get locked and loaded, man. Because if I'm if I'm slated to face the Seattle Mariners, right now they're the second wild card team. So if I'm a Rays fan, get locked and loaded, man. Get locked and loaded because I do not want to see that pitching staff in a 3-game set. You got Castillo, you got George Kirby, you got Bryce Miller, you have all these other guys. The bullpen needs some work. You know, they traded away Paul Sewald, who hasn't really been that great this year. But Andres Munoz, great reliever, throw some gas, but you do not want to see the Seattle Mariners team. I'm just going to say it right now because that pitching staff is filthy, absolutely filthy. There's we go to the National League now. The Central is getting a little bit less interesting. The Brewers are starting to run away with it a little bit. The Cubs, 6-4 in their last 10. Milwaukee 7-3 in their last 10. So the wild card standings go right now. Philly, Chicago, and Cincinnati. Arizona and San Francisco are both a half game out. Arizona's 8-2 in their last 10, so we may be getting a little bit of a comeback there. Miami's tailed off a little bit, and then we just have the divider, San Diego and New York. Again, I don't want to see another sleeper team. I don't want to see that Cubs team. I do not want to see that Cubs team at all. Justin Steele's been great. Cody Bellinger, phenomenal. Marcus Stroman's on the IL right now. I get this playoff race is going to be very tight. I feel this playoff race is going to be very tight. The Braves are currently running away with having the National League run through them, 82-44. Dodgers sitting at 78-48. They're not too far off either, so we'll see. Never know with the Dodgers. It's going to be a fun October. It's going to be fun observing this as a baseball fan, not necessarily as a Yankee fan, but just as a baseball fan in general. This playoff race should be fun. Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Houston round out the top 3 of the wild card. Tampa Bay has a 6-game gap in between Seattle. Toronto on the outside looking in, 1 game back from that 3rd spot. So there's definitely spots up for grabs. We could definitely see some teams that we not really see miss the playoffs that often, like the Houston Astros, and some teams that we could definitely never see make the playoffs. The Diamondbacks, the Reds. The Reds have won 3 straight, so we'll see. Definitely an interesting playoff race, to say the least. Moving on now to college football. Yes, it's that time of year, week 0. A lot of game. I think getting a lot of games going on. Nothing really too mainstream high. I think the biggest game we got is Notre Dame and Navy. And speaking of that game, Notre Dame favored by 20.5. I'm going with the opposite. I'm gonna roll with Navy. This game's in Ireland, 2:30 on NBC. Navy plus 20.5. They returned more than 77% of last year's roster. They bring in a new offense. It's similar to the offense of old, read options, all that, but it's more spread out. They do have an option attack. They usually run 3 wide receivers, a lot of throws to the outside. Definitely just in case if the receivers are covered, they can definitely check down to the running back. They have some depth. Also, on Notre Dame's side of things, they bring in former Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman. He's the starting quarterback. New offensive coordinator. They've never worked together before. And plus, with these new rules, too, with all the armed forces teams, I can say the same thing about Army, Navy, and Air Force. All these armed forces teams, and there's new clock rules, too, where the clock's going to keep on running. There's a lot. There's not going to be that many possessions. That on average, that could really be like 8. It makes a big difference, too. You may not notice it, but it's going to make a big difference. Make a huge difference. That's going to decrease like 8 possessions a game. But this is certain. I like Navy in the spot. Hartman still got time to get used to the offense. He's still got a great running back in Audric Estime. Fun fact, I played him in basketball. But besides the fact, my claim to fame. I don't know. I like Navy. Notre Dame played Navy last year. Navy, I think, lost by only one possession. It was a one possession game at one point. So, yeah, give me Navy plus 20.5. Next up, Ohio, Iowa. I almost said Iowa. Ohio money line. Oh yeah, I said it. Ohio money line. They're taking on San Diego State. They're 3.5 point underdogs. They return 75% of their offensive line. They bring back running back site. I wrote it down in my notes. I really have to look at this name for the YouTube listeners. Sai Bengura. Sieh. Sai Bengura. I don't know. That's how you say his name. They're bringing back wide receiver Sam Wigloose, who had 73 receptions and 11 touchdowns last year. And they're bringing back the reigning MAC Player of the Year, Curtis Rourke, a.k.a. the Maple Missile. He had 3 5-touchdown games last year. SDSU, they lose a ton of experience on defense. The D-line lacks experience. I really like Ohio. I only think the reason why SDSU is favored is only because they're home and the crowd's going to be bumping. But I really like Ohio. More experienced team, more fundamentally sound team. A lot of guys coming back, aside from that SDSU defense, where they got no defenders coming back, nothing like that. So give me the Bobcats. So those are my two best bets for college football. I'm just excited for football to come back, man. I'm very happy. Okay. Moving on to AFC and NFC West predictions. We'll start with the AFC first. And we are going to start it off with the Kansas City Chiefs. Win total at 11.5. I mean, why? I mean, you're an idiot if you take the under here. You must be a hater. I mean, what's there to say? Like, really? Defending Super Bowl champions, they lose Orlando Brown Jr., but they get a great signing in Jawan Taylor. They keep hitting on the draft picks. Sky Moore is going to be an essential part of this offense. Same thing with Kadarius Toney if he stays healthy. Isaiah Pacheco. You got the best quarterback of this generation. You got Patrick Mahomes. You have one of the best tight ends ever in Travis Kelce. What else is there to say? Over 11.5 wins. I'm taking that to the bank. That's probably going to be my best bet, unless I can find something else, but that's certainly something to have. Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers totals at 9.5 wins. They're replacing old offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi with Kellen Moore from the Dallas Cowboys, which is huge. He can take Herbert to that next level. Austin Eckler's staying. I like the over for their wins. I like the 9.5. I'll lay the 9. I'll go over the 9.5 wins. This is my wild card team for the AFC. This is what makes the AFC so competitive because now you have the Jets. You have basically everyone you have the Jets, you have the Dolphins. Basically, like the 3 other teams in the AFC North, Baltimore, Cleveland can definitely make some runs if Deshaun Watson can play like he was playing in Houston. The Steelers, you always never know with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then really it's the AFC West. You have the Chiefs and then you have the Chargers. I mean, I think the Chargers could certainly sneak into this wild card. Not necessarily sneak in, but they can definitely make some noise as a wild card team. Herbert having Kellen Moore is absolutely huge. I don't know why the Cowboys got rid of Kellen Moore. I mean, I'll gladly take it because Kellen Moore's a great offensive coordinator. I just don't know why they got rid of him. Next up, the Denver Broncos, 8.5 wins. I mean, the thing is, everyone loved the Broncos last year because of Nathaniel Hackett. And, they got Russell Wilson. They got all these guys. They upgraded the O-line. The defense could play to its potential. I don't know. I'm going to pass on it just because you never know. And I've seen those preseason games and they have not looked good whatsoever. But the thing, I don't know. I'm going to pass on it. I'm going to pass on the Broncos. This is, I don't know. Maybe Sean Payton can do something special with Russell Wilson, but just, I don't see it. And then last but not least, the Las Vegas Raiders. So they tag Josh Jacobs. We don't know if he's playing or not. Sign Jimmy G, good. Fits the system. Knows the Josh McDaniels offense. There's some goods, but there's some bads. You trade Darren Waller to the Giants for essentially nothing. Apparently there was some trouble in paradise there. They play the NFC North, the AFC East, the Colts, and the Giants. They could take like 3 or 4 games within those crossovers. I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the under on that one. I think they go. What was it, 7.5? I think they go 5, maybe like 5-12. I don't even know if my math's right. I used to memorize all the freaking win loss combinations when there were 16 games and it was so much easier. And then they just moved to 17 games and I'm all out of whack. So how these standings are gonna go, we're gonna go with Chiefs 1, obviously. Number 2, we're going to go with the Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Seems pretty self-explanatory. Moving on to the NFC West. Now, I think we have a clear-cut number 1, and that is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. You know, Brock Purdy, they just named their starting quarterback in Brock Purdy. Trey Lance is now QB3, which is major news for teams that are looking for a quarterback. Huge news for teams that are looking for a quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Niners. Totals at 10.5. I'm going to take it. Screw it. Give me the over, 10.5. We've seen what this team has done countless of times. The team is comfortable with Brock. It's clearly noticeable that the team's very comfortable with Brock Purdy at quarterback. They were going to roll with Brock Purdy at quarterback. It seems like that elbow is good. Sam Darnold at QB2. Hey, if they give him the targets they have, Deebo Samuel, you got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, you got George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. This team could definitely make some noise no matter who the quarterback is. So, give me the Niners, over 10.5 wins. The Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks are a very confusing team here, I feel like. Only because, do we think that Geno Smith is going to have a repeat year of what he had last year? So they draft Jackson Smith-Njigba. Unfortunately, he breaks a bone in his wrist. I don't think he'll be ready by week 1, but he will definitely play this year. Kenneth Walker, could he have a sophomore slump? There's a lot of what ifs with this Seahawks team, and I'm going to go with the under. The total's at 8.5. I'm going to go with the under here. We'll see. There's just too many questions. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to take I think I'm just going to pass on it in general. I think there's too many questions here. Is Geno going to stay consistent? Smith-Njigba, will he be the same with the wrist? Is Kenneth Walker going to have a sophomore slump? That defense isn't really the best either. I know, like, not Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, whoever the guy they drafted in, like, the 5th round, he became a stud. I'm going to say it's Tariq Woolen. But nonetheless, a lot of questions. A lot of questions with this Seahawks defense. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams. And I'll be honest, I just put a bunch of question marks. The total's at 6.5. So last year, they go into the year defending Super Bowl champions. They get all these primetime games. Matt Stafford goes down, out for the year. Cooper Kupp goes down, comes back for a couple of games, but then gets hurt again. They bring in Baker Mayfield at quarterback. He wins a couple of games, but still not good enough. Stafford comes back. Cooper Kupp claims he's 100% healthy. Totals at 6.5. I don't know. I don't know. Again, so many questions. Is Matt Stafford gonna play like how he played when they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago? Is Cooper Kupp still going to be that top premier wide receiver that he has proven that he is time and time again? But is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to stay in the field? Aaron Donald, is he really mentally in there? Because, there have been a lot of talks about him contemplating retirement, all this. Same thing with Sean McVay, too. We don't know if he's mentally in there as well, contemplating retirement all the time. It's a tough call. I'm going to pass on it again, just because there's just so many questions here and all that. Last but not least, we mentioned this team earlier, the Arizona Cardinals. Totals at 4.5. Under all the way. Under all the way. They're trading everybody. This is just not a good football team. They're in the rebuilding phase. new head coach Jonathan Gannon, new GM. Kyler Murray is starting most of the year. Is going to be starting most of the year on the bench as he recovers from that ACL injury. So I believe that they're going to go with Colt McCoy. Now I could be wrong on that. Let me just be 100% sure. And yes, Colt McCoy. They also traded for Joshua Dobbs. So if Colt McCoy isn't really performing well, I feel like this is just a retool year. Not that many great players in this team. The defense is a big question. Buda Baker, he said he was going to play, but how is he mentally checked into this team? There's just so many questions with this team. I'm going to go under. This team is just not good. The quarterback play is not going to be good. And rookie head coaches just don't. I mean, it depends on who they are. I mean, Jonathan Gannon was a great defensive coordinator. I don't think the offense really has that talent to take the next step up. So, best bet. Just give me the Niners to win the division. That's honestly what I'm gonna take, only because just give me the Niners to win the division. There's nothing there's nothing out there that really again, nothing moves me with this division. I think it's just the Niners. It's the Niners division to lose at this point. Top 4, we're gonna go San Francisco, Seattle, LA, Arizona. This Arizona team is gonna be terrible. Yeah, this Arizona team is just not going to be good at all. Now watch them make the playoffs as I say that, but whatever. That's going to wrap it up. Pretty short episode today, Tim and I would be going on for an hour. So know what I saw, know what do you call it? Know what I saw, no top 5. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. This is going to be so weird to say. Instagram, X, and TikTok. Be sure to like this video on YouTube, comment on this video on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube. It helps us out tremendously. Be sure to follow us and rate us on Spotify. 5 stars only. Shout out Eastway. Phenomenal band. Support your local music. And we will see you guys next week for our full NFL preview. All right. Peace out, guys.